Hello guys and welcome to a new video. So today we finally finished our Alec and Hines gambit. Our last video, the O'Sullivan, was our final one. And this time you're white, you're 3000 and you're my viewer and you're facing against this random guy who is negative infinity. So after d4, after a few moves, this is called the Benko gambit, gambiting this pawn. After it takes here, they take, and then you push the e4 pawn up. You already sacked a pawn here. They pushed, you put your knight on b5 in an outpost. It looks natural just to remove it here, but it's interesting later. So after d6, well, you might be wondering why black. Well, there's also the line where black takes the e4 pawn, but after queen e2, they had to move d6 and lose the knight. If they try to move the knight backwards, you checkmate with knight to d6. Because this queen pins the pawn and the knight attacks, smothered mate. And then you take, after a little bit, you can slowly convert this, and you can just convert this, and hopefully all of you guys can convert this. Now this is interesting, if the bishop goes here, you take this pawn, it's for free, because this queen still pins. And now you take that bishop. And this is just a real nuisance for black. They're just being drawn closer and closer and closer out to the open. And there's nothing they can really do about it. It looks like it's a fine position for black. They look like they might be able to hold. But this is not a very horrible position. You realize as soon as you trade the rooks down. And now you have a bishop and a rook against now you just have a rook and a king against a king, and this is unstoppable mate. So that's why the best move is d6, not taking the pawn. You go bishop to c4. You still have the same threat. Well, I think if you take here, then you go here, and they go here. This is quite interesting because I can't find a fault with it, but there might be some crazy sacrifice line, like here after here, here, but after here, you just, after this, and then something like this, there's nothing. So it was quite interesting. Bishop c4, and after a couple of developing moves, they try to take en passant here. It's interesting, but you just get this back, and they just have a missing pawn on the b square. After bishop to e2, knight goes back, and this is a perfectly fine position. Your rook might have a little bit of awkward placement, but in the long term, black may be up a pawn, but you're just fine. Well, instead of taking here, I think a much more ideal move to some people would be to try and take here, but that runs into here, here, and this knight, when he took, now this knight is trapped. So he moves here, and he tries to get the knight out. And this is a pin on the knight, making it not be able to move. You take the free knight, and then you take this, and then you take that. And now you have this really nice passed b7 pawn, which black will be defending for the rest of his entire lifetime. And you might have a repetition of moves here. Black and white could keep on going here, and it would never end, but I don't like draws by repetitions. So this is the place where you don't follow top theory and you try to not go for a draw and you try to achieve something. After a little bit, this is just drawn. A king and a bishop cannot checkmate a king. So after f takes, bishop attacks, you defend, and then you just... This is simply fine, and you're not really going to get much out of this after here, but your opponent might not play a move like h5 and might just try to take, but the problem is you have these doubled pawns, which in this variation of the game, they did not help at all. Because those pawns, that rook and that bishop, are always looking out for it, and white just proceeds to demolish all of black's pieces while just gaining queens. And this is an impossible position to defend against. This d pawn looks scary, but you just have checkmate in a few. If they push d pawn to d2, you go checkmate. They move, you take the pawn, and checkmate. Anyways, so after rook takes, bishop takes, rook goes back, bishop goes back. You go up, and you shuffle a little bit, but I think this is a good position for white, personally. I'd be happier as white in this position. You're up to about a pawn, and you don't really have any dangers. The only problem I think in this position is that everything is drawn, because as you see, I tried every single maneuver, but after tons and tons of shuffling against the computer, things that look like it works, trying to move the king over to get some idea, but none of it works because the whole idea is because this king keeps a consistent barrier here, stopping you from entering anywhere with the pawn. This square is useless. If it was a black squared bishop, it would have done so much better on this diagonal, but unfortunately it's not. But it's okay. It's still a draw. Reminding you, this is still with the best moves. If your opponent plays all the best moves, then okay, they deserve the draw. Come on, man. But if they make a slight mistake or a move that's not in this video, then you know that they made a blunder, and you can act on it and think for a long time. Anyways, thanks for watching my video about this Nescafe Frappe Attack. Hope you guys drink some McDonald's frappes. They're pretty good. Anyways, see you for next time.